How's it going, everyone? If you saw my recent video, in fact my last upload, I took my 2003 Saab 9-3 on a road trip to San Diego, California, from Phoenix to San Diego and back, which was just under 750 miles round trip. I only filmed the way there, but on the way there the car went into limp mode and then eventually threw a check engine light. And it threw a check engine light for a very common code that I get, and I've been getting it more and more frequently over the last year or so, and that code is P0101, which is a code that relates to the MAF sensor right here. I cleared that code about 150 miles from my destination on the way to San Diego, so I drove it 150 miles to San Diego. I didn't drive it while I was in San Diego, but then when I came back the 370 miles or so, the car ran perfectly fine, which I figured it would. That's just a little update in case anyone cared to know, but to get to the purpose of this video and the title, I really want to talk about the problem with K&N air filters today. Now, I installed a K&N filter on this car. It was one of the first mods I did. It was probably one of the first mods I did on this car as well in video form, so I'll link that at the top corner up here if you want to see a very old, even more poorly produced video than the ones I still make. Check that out in the top corner. But I remember I was very excited for this mod, and deep down, you know, when you do something like just replacing an air filter, you know it's not going to make the car faster. All it's going to do is it's going to help the car breathe a little bit better and in theory get a little bit more air into the engine, but it's not going to make a anything intake wise is usually, especially when it's just a filter, not going to give you any sort of power gains. But the whole reason why I got it is, one, because it was like $60 and I just wanted to do a cheap, easy mod, and two, because with this filter, you could hear the turbo a lot better. Not quite as much as you would get from an open air intake, which I also had an open air intake on this car temporarily, but just with a K&N filter, it's a nice easy mod, and you can get some more turbo noise from it. I want to talk about the downside here, and that is that it causes the mass airflow sensors, to flip out and throw codes every now and then and put the car into limp mode, and it'll temporarily scare you until you see the code, and then you can just clear it and be like, whatever, I just need to clean my MAF. But basically, these K&N filters have a special oil in them. And this oil, over time, it kind of comes off of the filter and blows onto the MAF sensor itself. And after enough oil gets on there, it triggers that check engine light, because the stock air filter does not have any sorts of oils on it necessarily. So when stuff gets on the MAF sensor that's not supposed to be there, it gets confused, throws the code. One other thing that could possibly be causing this outside of the oil on the filter is just the fact that I have never cleaned this filter. I've rotated it like 180 degrees a couple times, but these two spots where it sucks in air are significantly dirtier than the other spots of the filter. So realistically, I should probably buy a kit that K&N makes to clean the filter, which is probably like 20 bucks. I just have never gotten around to it. I've made videos about the P0101 code in the past and talking about it, but today I just wanted to kind of focus on why K&N filters suck. And that's the exact reason why they suck. I'd recommend, if you have the money, just buy a DO88 intake, because that's the best intake available for these cars, whether it be V6 or 2.0. But if you just want something cheap to get a little bit more noise, then the K&N filter can get the job done for you. Just be wary that you might eventually get a P0101. And when I say might, I mean you will. So because I've been getting this code more and more frequently, when I say more and more frequently, I'd say like a month or two apart, as opposed to happening like maybe once or twice a year. So now it's happening more frequently. I figured it's time to probably just replace this MAF. So we're going to replace this MAF, and I think what I'm going to do, now that I realize I haven't cleaned this filter in 4 years, is off camera I'll order a filter cleaning kit, and I'll probably clean that. That's not a very interesting process. I've done it before with different air filters, so no point in filming that really. But then it's not like a MAF replacement is interesting either. So with that being said, this has been a long enough intro. I just wanted to explain everything in the intro as opposed to just showing the MAF install and then getting to my point. So yeah, let's go ahead, remove this MAF. All we're going to need to do is pop off this electrical connector right here. I was trying to be smooth with it, but now it's stuck. There we go. Pop off that electrical connector, and I think it's T15 or T20, just two of them that hold the MAF in. One last thing I do want to do in this video is remove this bug shield. Seems like a lot of you weren't big fans of it, and I'm not a big fan of it either, but you can tell it clearly did its job on the road trip I just took. I mean, there are not many bugs at all on the hood at all. There's like little dust marks, I guess, probably where stuff deflected off of it. But in terms of dead bugs on the hood that weren't there before, there's just about none. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this removed. So once you take your MAF out, you'll see the little sensor itself right in there. You can also see it deep down in there. So the air flows through here. So it's time to replace this thing. But what you can also do is just get some MAF cleaner at any auto parts store, and you can spray all in here or in here, and then you can also spray the electrical connectors just in case. But yeah, let's get this new one on. You know, it's funny, as I was just looking at the bottle of MAF cleaner we have, on the bottle itself it says, proven 4 to 10 wheel horsepower gained from MAF Clean, or something like that. It's like, how can you prove that you have, how can you gain 4 to 10 horsepower from this? Like, I understand maybe it's going to help the car just read stuff better, but I don't know. I'm very skeptical of that. I wouldn't believe that personally, but yeah. And there it is. That's how easy the MAF replacement is. Like I said, guys, I know I've done videos on this before, but I really just wanted to talk about the culprit of this code in my specific case. If you are buying a new MAF, I would recommend buying an OEM one only. Do not buy a cheap one, because it probably will throw codes again and not work. So that being said, though, that's all I've got for today. My next video should be pretty exciting, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.